guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited that you guys get to join me today. As you can tell, we're doing something a little bit different than what we've been doing for our past two videos. We're going to do just kind of a speed build together today. On my channel so far, I've only had it for about 2 days now, but on my channel so far, we have started a Let's Play about a character named Cassandra Burrell, and she comes from a very wealthy, affluent family. Her father's a businessman who's just kind of busy all the time, but still has a good heart, whereas her mother is very materialistic, very money-grabby, and she's basically said to Cassandra that your dreams of becoming a writer are ridiculous. They're not going to make you any money. We won't support that. You have to go to college. And Cassandra's basically told her mom, no, I'm not going to college, and you're just going to have to deal with that. Well, this has all led basically to Cassandra running away. She's decided that she's not going to be living under the same roof as them anymore. So she's moved herself to Willow Creek, found an empty lot where we are now attempting to survive. We're super early on into the Let's Play. It's only episode 2. Episode 1 was us just making Cassandra and kind of talking through her character and her beliefs and her values and what we kind of saw for Cassandra to be. And then episode 2 is really just us getting our bearings, trying to collect some items, get some money. I don't really see that Let's Play as going for build up money. Right now we're just doing like things like collecting objects and stuff like that, and then maybe a little bit of a garden until we can afford to buy a laptop where she can start writing books and freelance writing. And once that's accomplished, we're going to stop with the other stuff. So that's kind of where our Let's Play is right now. I'm really excited. It's been like super fun so far, especially recording with y'all and getting to share just like, I guess, my thoughts with The Sims. So as you can see right here, we're just building a crazy hovel is kind of what I want to call it. It doesn't look like a hovel. When I say hovel, I imagine like something from Lord of the Rings, but that's not what this is. But for some reason, I called this a hovel. I don't really know why, but it's more of like just a small starter home. It's 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. And you can tell right here, right now, I'm struggling with what type of windows I wanted to add. I imagine that because there's like this really nice kind of landscapey, half foresty looking background to the house lot, that I wanted there to be just like really beautiful open windows. And I was using the windows from, I believe I was using from Seasons, I think it was. Yeah, Seasons. And for some reason, I don't know if they were just too thick for the size of a house or what. I wasn't seeing them. So I ended up moving over to the new windows that we got from the new Strangerville pack. I just think that they're a little bit more dainty and they kind of go a little bit better with the house. I don't know about y'all, but when I build, I always start from the outside in. So I know a lot of people, when they build, they'll like build the frame and they'll do the windows and just like the basic outside, but then they'll move inwards and start doing the floor plan and start furnishing, and then like the last thing they usually do is landscaping. I kind of do a little bit of that process, but for me, I usually do, I just noticed that the roof needed to be fixed. For me, I kind of do it a little differently. I start with the floor plan, just so I kind of basically get an idea of where I want on the lot. Then I usually go into windows, wallpaper, roofing, things like that. And then from there, I finish the outside. So I do landscaping, pathways, things like that. And so it's not usually until the outside's done that I move into the house and start with like the floor plan and furnishings. For this one, I did actually end up, because it is a smaller house and I was trying to figure out where I would put the bedrooms and stuff, I did actually end up doing the floor plan. But like for my bigger builds and stuff like that, I do not usually do the floor plans first. I usually wait and do all of the outside and then go into the inside. So right now we've kind of finished up the windows. Like I said, I was trying to go for some nice big windows. I'm one of those people that when I build, I just like absolutely love windows. And so when I see people who build houses that just have like 1 window on each house, I don't know why. It kind of drives me insane because I feel like, one, I'm OCD about like having things be even, but at the same time, I'm like, I guess I just really love windows and natural lighting. And so for me, I'm like, I need as many windows as possible. I mean, obviously I don't want to overcrowd a house, but I mean, like when I look at this, I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, maybe in real life, you probably would not have that many windows, but if this is Sims and I can build and create whatever I want, this is what I'm going to do. So right now we're trying to figure out wallpaper color versus roofing colors with roof trim. and we're just kind of messing around with that. We've kind of settled on the yellow, and I'm pretty sure I stay with the yellow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we stay yellow. It kind of looks pink a little bit because of the like lighting. Something that super duper irks me about Sims is that there's just like 4 or 5 times of the days that you can build in with like the different lights and stuff. But what's super annoying is that like one of them, this is probably one of the best ones that you can build in, but like the afternoon lighting sometimes makes like the different areas of the wallpaper look like different colors or just like a different shade. And then like your other options are basically nighttime. And why would you ever build at nighttime? Because then you can't see anything. So right here you see me, I just kind of like lifted up the foundation a little bit because I wanted to add just a little bit of a patio with patio step. I didn't want the house to be super off the ground or anything. I just wanted a little bit of a lift. And I'm trying to find, at the moment, what I want to do for my columns. I was thinking, like, especially if I was going to make this more of like a traditional cozy hovel. There I go again, using the word hovel. But if I was going to make this like a traditional cozy hovel, that I would need like very traditional posts. And so right now you can just kind of see me figuring out if I want to go with the dark brown to match the window trim. I think later on I end up switching it to white columns and white fencing, and I think I end up liking it better because I think it matches the trim of the roof better. Yeah. So right now we're going to kind of start what I like to call a pergola. I'm actually not for sure if it's called a pergola, but I call it a pergola. So if it's not, feel free to drop it a comment in the comment section and tell me what it's actually called. I don't know, something like a gazebo. What do you call the top of I want to say it's a pergola. I really don't know. But yeah, so I'm just kind of messing with that right now, adding a little bit of trim around it to make it blend in a little bit better. And then I'll end up putting like a little bit of wood flooring on top to make it look like it's a solid roofing. And then I'll put some nice like plants and stuff around that. Right here, I'm adding, because the game wasn't recognizing that there was flooring right there, so it wasn't letting me put the trim all the way around the house, which is super annoying because when you look at it, it looks like there's flooring right there. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's no flooring right here. You can't put this here. And you're like, well, I guess let me just redo it again in the same place. And it makes it look like nothing has changed. But then sometimes the trim magically works. So who knows? So we're deciding to turn everything white because I think I don't know why the white and the dark brown contrast I feel like just looks better, but I think it does. Once I add the little bit of like forestry and stuff on top of the pergola, if that's the correct word, on top of the pergola, it ends up going and blending in just a little bit better. I know right now it looks kind of like a very stark contrast to the brown, but I think it all kind of ends up looking really nice together. You may notice kind of down in that left-hand corner a sim that looks kind of, right now it's hot weather, so she's wearing a hot weather outfit. That is not the sim that I intend to ever live in a house like this. That's actually my sim self. When I am in my building world, which is the world I'm in now, a world that I just build in freely and don't really use it for Let's Plays or anything, you always have to start out with a sim for a world to do that. And so I just ended up making my sim self, and she's somebody that I can use to player test the house to make sure that everything works right. And that I don't run into, like, they can't cook, they can't use the bathroom, they can't use the toilet, things like that. You'll see here, so now I've added up all that greenery on top of the roof, and I really think it does end up pulling it back together. And so I end up putting a little bit of brown trim around the outside, and I really like this like stark contrast between the dark wood and that light white railing that goes around just like the front of the house. And then here I am changing the trim again because I think I end up going with brown. Yeah, I do. So then it's just that little bit of white in the front that I end up really liking because I think it goes with the wallpaper a little bit better. So now we're moving on to the pathway, and as I was making it, I was like, oh, let me just put a little straight pathway. But I was like, you know what, Nicole, that's boring. You should add something to the front yard since we have the house sitting so far back. And I was like, well, if this is going to be a crazy little hovel, I was like, I should totally add some type of like fountain or pond. And as you can see, I started with the idea of making a pond, but then I was like, that's going to take a lot for this really tiny build. And I was already like in the upwards of like 30-ish minutes by the time I was making this part. Or not 30, it was probably about the 15-minute mark. And I was like, that's just going to take too long. So I decided that I would just go with a little dainty fountain. Plus, a pond would have looked really big compared to the house. So I was just like, I'm just going to go with a little bit of a fountain. And you can see me here, I'm sizing up the rocks. If you don't know how to size up something in The Sims, if you put in Control Shift C, you could open up the cheap bar window at the top. put on your testing sheets enable true, and then if you push the left and right brackets, you can upsize and downsize things. And just the same that if you push the 9 and the 0, you can raise up objects and lower them back down to the ground. So right here, when I'm messing with the rocks and changing the bush sizes and everything, that's me just using the left and right bracket to make things bigger and make things smaller, just so I can go together. So this part of the build probably took me, I feel like, the longest, because I was trying to make it realistic in the fact that like some of the bushes are a little bit on top of the rocks, like maybe kind of like the moss grew over them a little bit. And I don't know, I think that looks more realistic, but I thought it did. So yeah, we're on the landscaping phase. I am by no means an expert in landscaping at all. In fact, landscaping is probably my worst part of building. I'm just really not that good at it. It's really hard to do, I feel like, and people always say the simpler the better, and I feel like I always overdo it, and so therefore I feel like my landscaping never looks like super great, but I also don't think it looks terrible. I think I try to be creative with most of it, unless it's just like a really big build, and then I'm like, let's just do some basic landscaping, because if you add just like a whole lot of things to the lot for no reason that aren't going to add any detail to your gameplay, it can make your game a little bit laggy. And so I try to make it to where I have everything that I need on the lot, and then it still looks really pretty, but it's not going to, I don't have excess things that are going to cause my game to lag and whatnot. I have an okay, decent computer, so I really don't ever experience a whole lot of lag, but like I mentioned in the past few of my videos, I use a ton of constant content. Up until about a week ago, I had about 1,000 files downloaded on my computer, and it made my computer so slow. Not in the sense that I really noticed it on my gameplay, but like when I started deciding that I was going to record videos and I would play back, the frame rate was so laggy that it was impossible to watch. And I was like, well, that's not good. And so basically I had to make a decision, obviously because I don't have money to go out and buy a super high-powered computer. But I had to make the decision that I was going to undownload my custom content, except for a few things. I did leave a few things because there's some things that you have to have when you play. And the things that I left are my halves, or my have-to keeps. And so some of the things that I got rid of were just like extra clothes, furniture, things like that. But the custom content that I did keep were like MC Command Center. I just feel like that gives me so much power with my gameplay, and especially with wanting to tell creative stories on my channel and doing all different types of stuff like that. Like I really feel like I have to have that in order to make it look good. And so right now we're just finishing up the rest of the landscaping. I mean, just putting some trees and bushes in, and we're about to go into the middle of the house. Yeah, awesome. But yeah, like I said, I was just adding in, or I mean, I just left in like MC Command Center, and then I'm a huge fan of the eyelashes that you can put as for your Sims, because I hate, and I will repeat that, I hate the Sims 4's eyes with the fake block eyelashes. I think they just look so bad. Like they don't make sense, and so I really don't like to use those eyes. So I use fake eyelashes. And then I kept, oh yes, I also have downloaded special like noodle eye colors that make my Sims eyes look a little bit more realistic, that I also really enjoy. So it's just like simple things like that I kept in there, but I got rid of my main things like furniture and clothing and accessories and hairstyles. Oh my goodness. I'm going to miss my hairstyles so much. I'm a fan of some of the match hairstyles and stuff, but like I love Alpha CC. I love how realistic it looks. I love how pretty some of those creators can be. I mean, some people are just so creative. But you'll see right here, we're now inside the house. I carried on the wood planks from the outside into the inside because I feel like this is going to be a super natural, woodsy, very traditional looking house. And I feel like the person who lives here is probably like a cat lady or she's just like a really free-spirited person who loves things that remind her of nature and the earth in her house. And so I was like, and I hardly ever use these floorboards, like almost never use these floorboards, and I was like, I'm gonna use them, they're pretty, I should just use them. So right now I'm doing the bathroom, and you'll see I use the new bathtub from, I want to say that was Strangerville, right? Yeah, Strangerville, I think. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, but Strangerville. And I really like this bathtub because I think it brings in that whole hippie, bohemian, kind of natural feel that I'm kind of getting from the character I'm building this house for. And as you can see, like the sink basin that I added in there also kind of falls in line with that too. That came from Laundry Day stuff pack. Oh wait, was the tub from Laundry Day? No, I really think that's from the Strangerville pack. I'm not for sure. Still don't quote me on that. I don't know. But anyway, so once this house is all put together, you're going to really see that it has a lot of like dark wood themes, a lot of like a natural, it's very girly. If you wanted to move a male sim into here, you would definitely need to probably change the color scheme a little bit. Unless you have a man who just likes pastels and like bright colors and everything, then this house is perfect for him. But when I envisioned it for the character I was making, I envisioned like a gardening sim who's super a gardening girl sim who's super into the outdoors and just like pastel colors and bright colors and happy things. But if you want to move a male sim in here because he likes bright colors, all for it. Awesome. We're moving into the bedroom right now. I picked this yellow wallpaper because, once again, I never use this wallpaper. I think when I was building this, I was just kind of like, what do I never use? Let's use them. Because I also never use that bed, and I also never use those nightstands. I've been recently trying to get out of the mold that I use when I build. I got so eased into like using the same beds, same countertops, same plants, same bathroom set. Like I could make a bathroom in like 0.5 seconds because I know exactly what I use every single time. So recently I've been trying to get out of that mold and try the different things in the Sims that I don't use so that my houses don't look the same. And so for example here, like these potted plants right here, I think I've only ever used them like in 2 or 3 other houses. But in my defense, I actually didn't know those existed for the longest time. And like these curtains, I use these curtains all the time. However, I only use like the nude tan color. I don't ever use like this bright color, except for in another build I have on the gallery. It's called like Colorful Bungalow or something like that, where it's literally just like a throw up of all these colors. It's actually turned out pretty cool and very colorful and fun. But I use these curtains in that, or it was either this one or the print that has the birds on them that's very similar to that. Another thing I don't use, this dresser, ever, but it goes with the nightstand, and I feel like the bed frame also. Normally, I have lots of custom content furniture also, and I usually use custom content furniture sets that I've downloaded and stuff, but don't have those anymore, so I'm discovering new things in The Sims, which is awesome, and I feel like it's kind of giving me a fresh perspective on what I'm doing. So that's really awesome. So right now we're just kind of figuring out what we want to put on the table. We ended up going with just like some simple makeup and a little lamp that I felt was like super old and traditional, that whoever the granny nature person thing that lived here, I thought she would probably think it was really pretty because it has stained glass and everything. This mirror, also never used this mirror, so I thought I'd put it in there. You'll find in this video that this house is just a bunch of things that I never used, and I'm like, oh, we should just try it. These pictures, I never used them. You're probably getting tired of hearing that, so I'll probably stop saying it. Just realize for the next part of this last build that anything I probably pull out, I've never used before, and I'm trying to figure out how to use it. But anyway, so yeah, right now we're just trying to find some pictures for the wall. I think we just ended up going with the butterfly ones because they kind of pull in that nature feel that I felt for the bedroom. And I think at this point I'm deciding that like it looks a little like if you got out of bed, your feet would be cold. And so I think I just picked this little simple rug. Okay, you guys might agree with this. I don't know if you do. If you do agree with this, drop a comment in the comment section and tell me, or drop or thumbs up the video too. Do you guys hate if you do like size up and downsize your rugs and things like that? I don't know if you do, but if you do you guys hate that literally like the size of the rug that you might have, like that you pulled out, is just like a little bit too small or a little bit too big, and you just want to downsize it a little bit, but all of a sudden it's like 4 times the size of the original size, or like 4 times smaller than the original size, and there's like no in between, and so you either just get like really big or really small. I think that's super annoying because I'm like that rug that was in there, I just wanted it to be like maybe like 1 more square around bigger, and all of a sudden it was like 4 squares around bigger, and so that was super annoying. We're just moving over into the little like cubby area because I just had like this random like spot in the house. Hold on, I'm going to take a sip of my water. I drink some clear American water, Golden Peach, very good. Get it from Walmart. Anyways, yeah, right here we're just doing this little nook area that I have like with this really beautiful window. And I imagine that the grandma person, I really feel like it's a grandma who lives here, quite honestly, but the grandma who lives here probably has this really old computer who, and this is like her only way to like connect with her grandchildren or to talk with like civilization and actually keep up with what's online. and around the world. And then I just kind of gave her some pretty sunflower pictures and a little bookcase that she could read from to build skills and stuff like that for whoever you move in the house. I keep saying old lady, but quite honestly, anybody can live in this house. It just really depends on the sim that you make and if this house is right for them. So these curtains right here, those are the curtains that I use all the time, that cream color. And so as you see, I said, no, Nicole, you use those all the time. You need to pick something else. And so here we go. I'm picking something else. Trying to get out of my bubble, people. And then right here, it was super funny. I was like going through this. I was like, why? I sped up so it doesn't look as long. But I was sitting there for about 30 seconds thinking, why can I not find the print that matches? And it took me about 30 seconds to realize that it was because I was holding a different curtain. I mean, they look the same, but one has trim and one doesn't have trim. And I didn't realize at the time while I was making it. So that was kind of funny. We're moving into the kitchen now. And you'll see right here, I'm just putting in like one of the older looking fridges. That look like they probably don't use as much electricity or power. Because like I said before, I kind of feel like this house is somewhat near the woods or the forest or like along like a water canal. So it's not like you would have like a whole lot of power and things like that. Or at least you wouldn't want to take up a whole lot of power. And so that's what we're working on now. So we're almost done with that part. And then we're just putting in the stove. And I'm trying to decide right now about the sink. But I was also, while I was doing this, trying to think if I wanted to continue with making an island or not. And then I was like, I pulled out this microwave and I was like, this microwave takes up so much space. And I was like, she's only gonna have 2 counters, plus I wanted to have a dishwasher. And I was like, well, how am I gonna make that work? And so I got this idea that maybe I could pull one of these like short little surfaces like end tables over, and then I could put the microwave on top. But I realized that the microwave doesn't naturally sit on the floor, so I couldn't raise it up or raise it down. And so then I was like, dang. And so I was like, well, maybe if I move the counter over and then just take away the counter, I can leave the microwave sitting up and then put that underneath. But unfortunately, you can't move the counter out from underneath the microwave. Or at least I don't know how to do that, so maybe I need to look into that. So that kind of idea didn't work out. So I thought it was going to be cute, but then it didn't work. So then I'm just deciding that I'll just add a little bit of a counter in the kitchen off to the side. I'll put the microwave there. And I feel like adding that little bit of counter actually did really add a lot of space to the kitchen. Even though it's just one counter. I'm just putting in the alarm system. I think when I originally built the kitchen, I forgot to change my background wallpaper. And so I'm pretty sure at the end of this build, I'm like looking around the house and I realized that the wallpaper is normal behind the kitchen, which I don't usually leave it the same color or whatnot. I usually put some type of tile in the background because most houses that you go to have some type of black, or at least these days, have some type of backsplash or something to them. So I end up changing that later on, I'm pretty sure. And then just right here, we're putting little accessories and different things right here. Trying to figure out what we want to put on the counter. And then I realized, well, this is already a super small kitchen, so we can't fill up too much of the counter or nobody's going to be able to cook in the kitchen. And that's the worst thing you do is when you overfill the counters because you want it to look homey and like cluttered so it looks realistic. But then all of a sudden that you realize that you actually can't even use the counters. So I didn't want to come with that problem. Now we come to the dining table conundrum. I was going through all these dining tables and I was like, I hate all of these because I don't ever use the 1x1 dining tables. I always use at least like the 2x1s. I don't know, because I just like bigger dining tables. And so I'm not a huge fan of all the like the smaller ones we have. And so I'm sitting here like trying to figure out what color scheme of them I like. And I ended up staying on this one for a while because I liked how it looked very rusticy on top, but I didn't like the color. And so I was like, well, darn it, what am I going to do? And so you can see here right now, I'm trying to figure out what color I want to, see it. So then I think I end up staying with this one. And now I'm just trying to match a chair to it. I'm pretty sure. And I think we settle on a weird chair, but I think we go back and delete it and then change it. Oh, no, we do end up staying with the blue because I remember, because I think we end up putting a rug under here too. I built this yesterday, like early in the morning, or not early in the morning, but later on in the morning. So I don't really remember a whole lot of what I did. I have terrible memory. But yeah, so then I'm just adding a little bit of a blue rug that kind of goes with the other kind of like wholesome knitted rugs. Now I'm deciding that I have this giant chunk of empty wall in between these beautiful windows that I'm like, oh, I should put a fireplace in here because if this is kind of in the middle of the woods, why would you not have a fireplace? So I put a little TV above it, which I'm now realizing is off center. Oh my goodness. I hope I fix that later. I don't think I did. That's really annoying. Oh my goodness. I mentioned earlier that I have a little bit of OCD, and that's going to drive me insane. I'm going to have to go back and fix that. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay. And then I was kind of deciding that I didn't really feel like this house was big enough for a sofa or for like any big like love seat chairs or anything. So I was like, oh, I'll just give her like some cute little like chairs that like if she has old lady friends that come over or something like that, they can all sit around the table together. Or her grandchildren will have somewhere to sit. But then I liked where those were, and then I was trying to figure out a rug. And none of the rugs looked right, because then it was like all three of those rugs in the same room were touching. So like the blue one, the white one, and then whatever one I placed by the fireplace were all touching. And it was just too rug crowded, because you never have that many rugs in one room like all the way next to each other. So I was trying to see if I could do something to make it look different. And I think for a long time I was like, okay, never mind. I'm just going to put some type of middle table in the middle and make it look better. And I like this table, but I didn't like that I had to size it down in order to make it fit. And then when I was trying to put, I think, flowers on top, they were like floating in the air. Yeah, you're about to see it. But they were just floating in the air, and so they didn't really make sense. And so that was kind of driving me insane. And you can't, I mean, I guess at this angle you can't really tell that they're floating, but I had moved the camera and realized after I moved it that they were floating, and I didn't like that. So I ended up going with a smaller coffee table, and then I moved the chairs back in, and then I was like trying to figure out a rug, and still couldn't figure out the rug situation. So what I ended up doing was just moving the like white creamy colored rug I have near the computer underneath the fireplace, and then I put like a tinier rug underneath the chair in there to make it still a little bit homier in that area, but just to change it up a little bit. And I think it turned out fine. If you do play in this house and you don't like it, just change it. You know, it's okay. I think I had struggled with this rug situation for so long that at this point I was just like, you know what? It looks great. Okay, we're done. And then just kind of my last little area that I had to furnish was the entryway, like right here. And I just kind of decided that when you walk in your house, you need somewhere to put your keys. And so we needed some type of entry table that maybe just had some cute flowers and then a little bit of accessories on it. And so I ended up just putting, just a little bit of flowers and then a few accessories. Some books. And then I think I put a dog or cat in sculpture. Oh, yeah, I did. There you go. Oh, that was my phone in the background. Sorry. Forgot to put it on silent. And then so right here, I looked around the kitchen and I realized, Nicole, you never changed the background of your kitchen. And so I just put something simple in the background, just some nice, easy tiles. And then I was like, oh, I'll put them right here too. And then I said, nope, that looks terrible. Nicole, why would you do that? And I fixed it and I put it back. And then I was like, let me move this weird fire alarm that's just randomly up here above the shelves, but then it didn't look right and wouldn't fit. So we're here at the end of the video. Now I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the porch. Earlier on in the video, I pulled out this tire planter thing because, once again, I never use this thing. And I was like, oh, I should use this because she would be totally into plants and things like that. And so I'm just trying to figure out what I want on this porch. And I kind of just decided that I wanted it to be somewhere that like she could sit with friends or grandchildren or family that come over. And this other side, I end up just putting a really long bench on to kind of just finish off just kind of finish off the porch and everything. So that's the build. Really simple. I called it a crazy cute hollow. Oh, that's right. I decided that I wanted to put a fireplace chimney, because once you put a fireplace in, which I wasn't planning to do at the beginning of the build, you need a fireplace chimney. And then none of the chimneys I really felt like kind of went with my house at all. And so you'll see me like going back and forth with this one because it kind of goes, but then I'm like, I don't really like it. And then I think, I ended up finding one that I like better that still doesn't really match, but I ended up making it work anyways. Yeah, it's that one, I think. And I was trying the different colors, and I think I ended up with going like the original one. But so this is the house. It's just this really simple 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom starter home. I actually don't remember off the top of my head what it ended up being. I feel like it's probably more than $20,000 just because of all the bushes and stuff that I put in there, because that naturally makes things go so much higher. I don't really know why, but it just does. So this is the house. Cute little 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, kitchen and everything. But if y'all like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up. I'm so happy that you guys returned to my channel to watch some more videos. If you're interested in the Cassandra story, you should go back and watch episode 1 and episode 2. I'm sorry for the audio in episode 1, but it gets better, I promise. Right here, I'm just uploading it to the gallery. If you guys do want to download this, it is in the gallery. My gallery name is just Nicole1213. So if you're interested in downloading this build, you should definitely go do that. It's super cute, super easy to play in. Everything should work. When I played in it, it worked. It was fine. you can probably just find it by searching Crazy Hovel. But yeah, so like I said, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, that like button, and I hope that you guys will return to our next video. The next video will be Life as a Runaway episode 3, and I can't wait to see y'all there. So I hope y'all have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Y'all have a great day. Bye.